You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. In the studio today with me today is Christine Nolan. She's the Executive Director of Trinity Village, and Mr. James McKenna, who is the Chief Officer of the Board of Directors. So welcome both of you for joining me today on the first time of being in the studio here with Channel 12. You know, we're moving on up, as they say. But thank you both for joining me today. So Christine, give us a little bit of background about Trinity Village and what Trinity Village is all about.
Sure. So Trinity Village is located in Newport County. The model that we have for Trinity Village is to help our community, it's community-based, to help individuals and families that are suffering from addiction and mental health disorders. We have a behavioral health clinic that has an outpatient program to support treatment needs. We have a recovery residence for women and children, and for men's on the island that supports a sober living environment. And we help bridge some of our members or our patients that come through Trinity Village with seeking out some personal employment needs or education if they want to return back into education or further their education. So our whole concept is very person-centered, and we really look at each individual, what their needs are, to help them through their struggles and receive the right services that they need, again, through treatment, looking at their environment in which they're trying to get well. Some of those folks really struggle with being at home and need to be removed from that environment for stress-related reasons, so they'll come stay at one of our recovery residences. We have a structured program in those residences that help people focus on their daily routine and some healthy living practices that help them not just embrace recovery, but really start to thrive in their life, you know, going back to things that are really helping them really change some behaviors, but also look at a quality of life. Our outpatient clinic that's located in Middletown, we really focus on, again, person-centered treatment, evidence-based practices in there, where the niche that we have that we love and we see working extremely well with outpatient services is a holistic approach. It's a blend between the clinical didactics of treatment with focusing on mental health issues, stress reduction, prevention, cognitive behavioral techniques, and other practices like that. But we also bring in mindfulness, Reiki, acupuncture. These types of services that we offer at our behavioral health clinic helps the whole person look at some of the symptoms that they're experiencing and address some of those needs to how to reduce stress, how to cope, how to really start to embrace, whole health hygiene, like your nutrition, and really also there's a spiritual component to it. A lot of the folks that come into Trinity understand that they've got a medical condition. There's no doubt about that. There's some mental health issues that they need to address, but they're really looking to address some of the needs of that lost sense of self, if you would, that addiction really tears down with members that are struggling with addiction, as well as the family unit. So we focus a lot, not just on the individual that's struggling, but we try to build in services that support each individual family, that helps reintegrate and help support the family in recovery. And so we do a nice blend, very, again, person-centered, looking at one patient, one client, one family at a time, and putting the services around them. When they start to see the change and truly start to feel healthier again, and they realize the changes that the way that they're living is starting to develop, some really wonderful outcomes for themselves. Their relationships are getting better. They're reintegrating back into employment, or just really having a new perspective on how to live healthy. They come back for more of that, and they bring it back into the community, which I love. So we know word of mouth, when something works well and they see the change in their own personal story, in their own life, then they want to be able to help others with that. So that's another component to Trinity, is not only the services we provide, is what those members that come to us bring back into the community and allow some intergenerational changes to take place. The children really start to see the benefits of their family member getting well, their parent, if their parent is struggling. But they also, there's a lot of need for the long-term care. So it's not a, you know, a 30, 60, 90 kind of day program. The members and the patients and clients that come to Trinity can come in for a period of time and continue services outside of the facilities, whether it's the outpatient clinic or the sober homes, to keep that long-term care that's so important for them to maintain their recovery and their family needs. So
let me ask you one other question. Children.
Yeah.
If a parent has a young child, does that young child go with the parent to your facility?
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think, you know, is something we found very important, is to keep the family unit together. So that as the parent gets well, so doesn't the child. We've worked with DCYF and the courts when either one of the parents, the father or the mother, are struggling and they're trying to get well, that we can provide services where the child is not separated from that parent. And we see the benefits of that because it's such a nurturing and stable environment for them. That we, and I've said this to you before, John, when you see the parent get well, the child reaps the benefits of that ripple effect of feeling that sense of safety, security, and nurturing. So we really believe in you know, case by case, how you try to keep the family and the children together, you know, to really make the necessary changes for the children to not, you know, have a parent leave them for a long period of time, and then it goes to the grandparents or the family, another family member taking care of the child, that they have the ability to take care of that child, and it is a structured program that helps them. We have services around the children if needed as well. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
you know, I speak to you know, members in the community, DCYF people, and it's really sad what's happening to our children. A lot of grandparents now are taking care of their children, their loved ones, because of issues with overdose and prison for their mothers and fathers. So to get a structured program as you have, it's a win-win, especially for the children and the parents. So Jim, I'm going to ask you, as a chairman of the board, where do you see Trinity Village going when you leave here today? Do you see it expanding? Do you see it more programming? I mean, in Newport County, in Westerly and down that area, we're seeing an awful lot of issues with fentanyl. You know, I'm on the calls every week with the state, and we're hearing a lot of overdoses. I mean, where do you see Trinity Village go?
That's a good question, John. But, you know, I hope that we're in an expansion mode to be able to meet some of the needs that are out there in the state. One good thing, we just went to a town meeting in Middletown last night, and we got a small grant to help transportation on the island, on Aquidneck Island. So one of the things we want to do with that is be able to bring some of the people to, you know, their appointments, to meetings, to do all these other things, because we're trying to eliminate what are the barriers to treatment for people. And that's one of the ways that we're going to do this. And then we have another big project in the works that we hope we're going to be able to fund, is the old St. Lucies shelter for women. We're hoping that we're going to be able to take that over, rehab that, and make that state-of-the-art for women and children on the island. That'll serve the state. And then we also have looked over in Johnston to try to get some services out there, and so we are open to working with other people, not only doing it ourselves, but if we can work with somebody else and enhance their facility and do things with them, we'd be more than happy to do that.
You know, there's so many issues with substance use and mental health now. I know as we sit here today, the Senate just voted to expand the CCBHCs. It's going over to the House. The gun bill is $111 billion in funding to help with mental health. You know, and it just seems that this particular issue is really, really climbing to the point of we have to make sure that all our providers stay intact, because if one or two have any financial difficulty, the state is really going to have a problem. And that's one of the things that we pushed this year in the General Assembly, to have the rate review bill, which we were so kind to thank Senator Palmer and Representative Baginski to put that, and Casamaro, to put that in the budget, so we can start looking at that. and hopefully get some rate increases, because right now we're at the bottom of the pole.
I know.
In the United States as far as rates go. I mean, and that's unfortunate because we're a small state, but we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of problems. We don't have enough providers to help with the problems that we have. And that's concerning to me. You know, that, you know, when you make a call, you want to put somebody in residential treatment, and they tell you, hey, we don't have any beds, it's going to be 3 or 4 days before we can get you a bed. When that person, as you well know, Jim, when that person wants to go, they don't want to wait 3 or 4 or 5 days to get into
you
a
have to
residential.
strike when the iron's hot.
Exactly.
And when that's what we always say, we have to look at what's going to be the situation. There's going to be a situation where someone wants treatment in that brief window. We have to be able to respond. But you know what I wanted to speak about, John, is I wanted to speak about in the past. You know, in the 80s when I worked here at Edgehill, Newport, we had 3 inpatient facilities, private inpatient facilities in Rhode Island.
Right.
We had other facilities, state-funded facilities, detoxes. We had services for adolescent boys. We had services for adolescent girls. We don't have these services anymore. Between, you know, the state not funding a lot of these things and insurance companies with their low rates, we're at the bottom of the barrel. We don't have it. And on the Aquidneck Island, it's very difficult for us to keep help because people don't like to travel out there, and there's not enough counselors out there because we can't pay the money. They're going to other states.
Yeah, it's easy to go to Mass or Connecticut where they pay more money.
Right, they go there. So we're losing staff, and we're just not creating new staff. And then with all the regulations that and the hoops that certain insurances have you jump through to get these people certified, it really isn't a partnership with the insurance companies.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about that. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, Sean Tassoni. We'll be right back with Trinity Village after this.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, Sean Tassoni. Trinity Village of Newport County is in the house. Christine Nolan and Jim McKenna are here, my guests today, and thank you both for being a sponsor, number one. Number two, coming in on a quick
You got it. Yeah.
sub.
More than welcome, John.
But thank you.
Okay.
Jim, I have a question about the board. A lot of people don't want to serve on boards, time commitment, busy schedule. Is it difficult for Trinity Village to have a board that's complete? You have people knocking on the doors, want to serve on the board, or do you have to go out and fish?
No, we really have to go out and, you know, it's difficult to get board members that want to do work, that want to, you know, help us with the mission. I mean, some people would put it on there, but they don't really want to be involved. And we don't need board members like that. We need board members that want to do it. But, you know, we're not, I mean, this is not like being on the Harvard Board of Directors or something like that. You're not getting paid to be on the board of directors, and we're asking you to do work. So it's got to be somebody that's committed to the cause and somebody that wants to do it. But certainly, if there is somebody out there listening that is committed to the cause and wants to be involved, please let us know, because we are looking for people that do want to be involved.
Yeah, you know, the thing is too, you know, being a board member, I mean, I serve on a number of boards, is that the commitment's got to be there. I mean, obviously that's number one. Number two, when I first started in this business years ago, it was 1 in 5 families it affected. I mean, but, you know, we've been told it's 1 in 2 families. And when we turn the corner in 2023, it could be a one-on-one type of deal. And that in itself is looming as a big problem in the state of Rhode Island. So, you know, kudos to you. I mean, I know you are like a pit bull on trying to get people on the board, but, you know, it's all, you need good people. You need good people to make the mission happen.
Right.
I mean, it's affecting everybody right now, mostly, but, you know.
We need people that want to be committed to the cause, and the cause is prevention, education, treatment.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Doing those things.
Exactly. So, Christine, I wanted to ask you another question about the church. Not where you go to church. I want to know about this new project you got on the docket come 2022, 2023.
Yeah, so and it's all in response to the crisis that we're in, housing crisis, access to treatment, and really what we've experienced in the Newport County area. That we had an opportunity, we're working with some community partners about an opportunity of building a new energy efficient 7,000 square foot building where the old St. Lucies Hearth used to be, the Women and Children's Center. Because the historical uses for women and children, and that's our model, it was something that is being considered to use that land, build a nice building, and offer 12 units for women and children. Customize a little bit more with some privacy, and independent bathrooms, and meeting some of the needs of a mother and a child, or a parent and a child. As well as building in space there that we could have an outpatient services, access to outpatient treatment. So it's not an inpatient level of care. However, you would have a residential side where for the women and children, and then you'd also have some outpatient services accessible within the same building. It's in a beautiful location where you can, which meets again some of the support services we offer. For employment opportunities, transportation is right at the foot of the egress there. You've got access to the recovery community, which offers a tremendous amount of support to the men and women and families that are embracing recovery support. Again, like Jim mentioned, we're looking at transportation to provide transportation there, and there's a school that is accessible for children if possible, that we can kind of work with the community as well. The town is very excited about it. It's meeting a need, and there's no other recovery housing on the island in that county area. We're the only behavioral health services that the community is accessing, outside of Newport County Mental Health. So we've all come together in this partnership in this No Wrong Door Commission that we're looking forward to piloting. That this model that we're doing here with this building, this old building, is going to really fit well into some of the needs of the community there. The other thing too is what we're expanding to is our peer-led programs, which is very important. That looking at SAMHSA, some of the models, the evidence-based models, we want to continue to keep that peer recovery, that peer led programs within Trinity, but also within the sober living environments, because we see that collaboration and that recovery coaching and recovery navigation and all of these things that have really shown intricately how it works for families trying to move forward in their recovery, and so we're excited about that. We've got a grant out there looking to see if we can get some funds in there to support the expansion of that and go all the way up to possibly the Fall River area, working with certain communities that are underserved right now, and support within the structure the housing needs of recovery coaches available in the residential side and then in the outpatient side. So it's a very effective model. We've seen people in the communities come out and say we need more units, we need more, we have a wait list right now. We need more of these types of models where not only is it going to be a beautiful facility, and it's supported by the town and the county, but it's also giving the community resources to be able to come in and as they're they find themselves in a situation where they might not be able to afford, if you would, some treatment services that they're looking at that might be a little bit more off the island, if you will. So
that's fantastic. And we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll come for the last segment. Thank you for watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We've got our break. We'll be right back after this.
Now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Trinity Village is in the house today. Christine Nolan and Jim McKenna. So thank you both for joining us today. Thank you for coming in from the island to join us today. So thank you. And Jim, I wanted to just give you a little update. There was money in the budget this year to open up a girls' unit now.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's good. I believe St. Mary's is going to take care of that. So
good.
Maybe you guys will have
much needed.
Conversation with St. Mary's, and maybe you have a partnership over there.
Definitely.
So, but Christine, I want you to tell my people who are watching your phone number of the facility and the website. So in case they have needs in Newport County and they can't get treatment, which is very lax over there, I want them to come to Trinity Village.
Oh, thanks, John. And we'd love to have them. It's our number that we can, 24-hour number is 1-888-344-4045. And then our website is www.trinityvillage.org, and they can access us, 24/7. Someone will get back to them, and we're located at 58 East Main Road in Middletown if they want to come in, if they're on the island, and stop by and see some of the services we offer.
I like when people say on the island.
On the island. On the island.
That's pretty neat. But, I want to thank you for what you do, both of you. It's very much needed. Moms who need treatment, and the kids, obviously, who need a stable living environment. I've been to your facility before, and it's fantastic. So if anyone has needs out in Newport and needs to get some treatment, please give them a call, and I know you'll be well taken care of. So, and I want to wish you luck on the church issue. If I can be of any assistance to you or your organization, please, you have my number. I greatly appreciate that. So thank you again for coming in.
Thank you very much, John.
My guest next week will be Jamie Lahane from Newport County Mental Health, and it's very much needed on the island.
On the island.
Again. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll see you next week.